It's Masters Week, and the festivities kicked off this morning with the Drive, Chip, and Putt National Finals in Augusta, Georgia. Find out how one local competitor fared. I sit down with Muskegon Lumberjacks head coach John LaFontaine in a Sports Overtime exclusive. We'll discuss the Lumberjacks season, playoff hopes, and much more. Opening day for the West Michigan Whitecaps is right around the corner. Vice President Jim Jarecki dropped by the studios to get you ready for the upcoming season at Fifth Third Ballpark. A women's national champion was crowned this evening. South Carolina took on Mississippi State. Could the Bulldogs win it all after taking down the Yukon Huskies? All that and more next on Sports Overtime. The Masters begins in just 4 days. Today, 40 girls and 40 boys competed in the Drive, Chip, and Putt National Championships at Augusta National Golf Club. One of them was Richland native Max Vandermolen. Representing Michigan, Vandermolen was in the 7 to 9 age group. Let's head south to the pristine grounds of Augusta. What a simply beautiful sight. And there's Max Vandermolen teeing the ball up in the drive portion and piping it right down the middle on his second attempt. The 9-year-old smacked it, get this, 189 yards, good for the third best drive in his age bracket. But the drive of the day came from Clay Merchant in the 14 to 15 age division. Check this out. The longest drive in the 4 years of the competition, a whopping 304 yards. I couldn't even do that in a video game, let alone real life. Back to Vandermolen, this time on the putting green, lines up his second try, and watch this thing roll. Backdoor sneaks in. That conversion earned him the top spot in the putt category. Overall, Vandermolen performed outstanding, the Richland native, even with some emotion, with the fist pump, there it is, as he finished in a tie for second in the 7 to 9 age group. What a great showing, and congratulations out to Max Vandermolen on a well-deserved accomplishment. PGA Tour final round of the Shell Houston Open. Last tune-up before the Masters. Threat of severe weather moved up tee times, and it threw off Ricky Fowler. He entered just a few shots back, and on the second, Fowler misses the putt to finish with a double bogey, dropping 5 strokes off the lead. To the 6th, Russell Henley starting his charge, birdie right here as he birdied 5 of his first 8 holes, pulling into a tie with Sung Kang at 17 under. Kang with the birdie on 8 there. That was the only highlight of his day. Henley, meanwhile, exploded on the back 9. 5 birdies, including this one on 14, as he opened a 3-stroke lead. Shot of the round, though, Angel Cabrera on the par 3 9th. Silky smooth. With the rains coming down, Cabrera, a couple bounces, rolls and finds the bottom of the cup for the ace on his final hole of the afternoon. But that would not overshadow Henley, who cards a 20 under par for the tournament, earning his 3rd career tour victory. The win also secures Henley the final spot in the Masters playing field later this week. Major League Baseball opening day has come and gone for the most part. The full slate of games is tomorrow, but today the 2017 season got underway. 3 games highlighted the slate, including the defending World Series champion Chicago Cubs in action on Sunday Night Baseball against the St. Louis Cardinals. Right now, it is the Cardinals leading the Cubbies 1-0 in the 8th inning. First game of the year pitted the New York Yankees in Tampa Bay, taking on the Rays. Bottom of the second, 3-2 Tampa, 1 on for Evan Longoria, and he mashes. Scorcher down the left field line, just over the wall. 2-run shot made it 5-2 Rays. Then, in the 7th, bases juiced for slugger Gary Sanchez, but Chris Archer gets out of the jam. Wimpy little ground out to short, pretty much sealed things. Rays waltz past the Yankees 7-3, the final. Out in the desert, Arizona Diamondbacks hosted the San Francisco Giants, and that's one way to take in an opening day. Top 7, Giants ace Madison Bumgarner doing it at the dish, cranks one out of the yard and left. His 2nd home run of the game, setting an MLB record for most opening day home runs by a pitcher. But in the bottom of the 9th, game knotted at 5. Chris Owings singles to right. Daniel Descalso comes around to score, and we have the first walk-off of the 2017 season. Diamondbacks over the Giants, 6-5. Detroit Tigers opening day is tomorrow, but they start the year in Chicago versus the White Sox. Pitching matchup for that one is slated for Justin Verlander against Jose Quintana. Coming up on Sports Overtime, I sit down one-on-one with Muskegon Lumberjacks head coach John LaFontaine in a Sports Overtime exclusive. West Michigan Whitecaps Vice President Jim Jarecki joins me in studio to discuss the start of the season, which begins on Thursday, believe it or not. And we'll crown a national champion in women's college basketball. All that and more coming up on Sports Overtime. The Muskegon Lumberjacks are playoff bound. They secured a berth with a win over Bloomington on Friday, but the race, not quite over. The Lumberjacks still have an opportunity to snag the number 2 spot in the Eastern Conference and secure home ice advantage in the first round. You can see the Chicago Steel have already clinched the division. Muskegon and Dubuque, though, going down to the wire. This morning, I caught up with head coach John LaFontaine to check in on how the season is going and much more. Friday night, Muskegon Lumberjacks clinch a spot in the Clark Cup playoffs. First time for the Lumberjacks since the 2014-2015 season when they made it to the Clark Cup finals.
Right.
What's it like to guide this team to the postseason in your first year as the head coach?
Wow, it's a tough league.
Mm-hmm.
It's there's a lot of parity. There's no nights off.
Mm-hmm.
Your team. You can understand now why kids go from here to college and have good careers in college, and they can go on and play pro. You have to be at your best every night, and we've got a bunch of warriors in that locker room down there, and the right leaders, the right returners that help bring the new players in and give them credit. That's what it takes, is the leadership in that locker room.
You're a Pontiac, Michigan native. What's it like?
Waterford, but
Waterford.
It's all right. Nobody knows where Waterford's at, so I've said Pontiac my whole life. So. You know where the Silverdome's at?
Yeah.
Close to the Silverdome.
What's it like for you to be able to kind of, in a sense, come home and coach a team kind of right in your backyard?
It's been great. So I grew up on the other side of the state, but my Uncle Fred and his family lived on this side, and so we would get a tease. We'd get to come over for a wedding in Holland. We'd get to come over for a family reunion, and we'd get to see the beaches, and boy, they know what it's like over here. So when I got to, but that was it. So I mean, I really didn't get to spend a lot of time, and didn't really understand how much, why they loved it so much. And when I moved here, I moved earlier before my wife, Lori, it was a beautiful summer. It was in August, and I kept telling her it's like being on an ocean beach. It's that nice here. And love the hockey community. Love talking old school hockey with some of the fans and some of the players that have been around since 1960 that know the game. It's fun talking to them. There's a lot of people that know the game here and appreciate hockey played the right way. And we're coming in with junior hockey, so a lot of them were used to pro hockey. But you can see that these guys and the way they play and how hard they play is slowly winning more fans, and that's been great to see.
A lot of college kids, a lot of young guys play in the USHL, so there's a lot of moving parts year to year.
Yeah.
Is the excitement since you've arrived, do you feel in this area and the West Michigan community maybe amped up a little bit with the success that the Lumberjacks have had and some of the names that have made their name here this year?
Yeah, our attendance has gone up, and it's been great to see that. And you've got an exciting young player like Andrei Svechnikov, and that has really garnered some excitement, enthusiasm. With his brother playing half an hour away with the Griffins, and him being as impactful in his first year is rare. He's practically the youngest. I think he's the second or third youngest in the league. And so that's generated some interest. And the fact that you've got these kids committed to the North Dakotas and Michigan States and Michigan's, Miami of Ohio. And the thing we need now is another Justin Abdicator, right? And Justin put Mona Shores on the map, and if we could get somebody from the Lumberjacks organization, from Muskegon or from the Lumberjacks to do what he's done, I think you see, wow, that's proving grounds for NHL development. And USHL is really it continues to improve in that manner every year for the last 3 or 4 years straight. More NHL draft picks. Exciting, high caliber players that have a chance to make it. You know, it's amazing how many kids, you know, Brock Besser just left North Dakota, goes and plays with Vancouver, scores a goal in his first game he played in the USHL for Waterloo. So I think he played 2 years or a year and a half. So many kids are moving on, having really good college careers, but now they're also moving on to the next level as more college kids are playing pro hockey. So it's an exciting brand of hockey. It's a fast brand of hockey, and now that you see these kids are making it to the highest level, you see why people could get hooked on it, that's for sure.
You just finished up the home slate of the regular season. 2 more games left on the calendar on the road this upcoming weekend, and then the Clark Cup playoffs start. What's the confidence level of this team as you guys head to the postseason?
They're playing their best hockey, and they're very confident in that locker room. It would be nice if we could finish second and have home ice. Right now we're right there tied for second, so with only 2 games left, and we're going to give it our best. It's been tight all year. You know, there's 4 or 5 teams in this division, there's 4 or 5 teams in another division that on any given night can beat anybody. So it's who's peaking at the right time. And you know, we feel like we have as good a chance as any to be standing in the end. We're going to enjoy every game. We're going to enjoy every series, and hopefully make a strong run.
Awesome. Coach, well, we appreciate the time today and wish you the best of luck and hopefully a deep playoff run.
Thanks, Zach. Appreciate the support.
Up next, I catch you up with West Michigan Whitecaps Vice President Jim Jarecki. Stick with us. This is Sports Overtime. The West Michigan Whitecaps revealed the 2017 team roster yesterday. Crazy to think we are now just 4 days away from opening day at Fifth Third Ballpark. A blend of veteran experience and exciting young talent highlights the initial roster. Headlining the group is Detroit Tigers' 4th-round pick in 2016, starting pitcher Kyle Funkhauser. Other highly touted players include pitchers Austin Sodders, Brian Garcia, Zach Houston, Gregory Soto, and outfielder Jake Robson. Meanwhile, a trio of Michigan-born players will also take the field for the Whitecaps. Cam Gibson out of Michigan State University, and also of Novi, son of former Tigers great Kurt Gibson, Trent Skutnick out of Temperance and the University of Michigan, a pitcher, and infielder Blaze Salter out of Bloomfield Hills and Michigan State University. And joining me now to break down the Whitecaps roster and much more of what fans can expect entering Fifth Third Ballpark this Thursday for the opening day game, Vice President of the Whitecaps, Jim Jarecki. Jim, thanks for joining me.
Zach, always great to be here. It's a good sign that baseball is right around the corner.
Spring is in the air. Well, Jim, take me through what you see from the roster. A lot of new faces, some familiar faces, and a new manager leading the way.
Well, we're really excited to have Mike Rebello back. Mike played with us in 2002, 2003, and obviously he worked his way up to play in the major leagues, but he's coming back to the Whitecaps after being away. He was in Connecticut the last 3 years. He's taken over for Andrew Graham, who was another catcher with us, and Andrew's now in Lakeland. But having Mike back here, he's familiar with the area, he's familiar with the ballpark, and I think he can really transcend what the Whitecaps experience can be for his players that are coming here in a couple days.
And speaking of Mike Rebello, we got his little jersey right here. And you pointed out earlier there'll be some changes this year as far as patches that'll be worn in games.
Yeah, it's this year we have the Mr. Eye patch, which is with the Detroit Tigers. Obviously, when Mr. Ilitch passed away in February, all the affiliates for the Detroit Tigers will be wearing those patches along with the Detroit Tigers. So it's a really good way to honor Mr. Ilitch. And also on the other patch, George Spelius, who was 27 years president of the Midwest League, he passed away back in September, and all of the Midwest League teams are going to be wearing the GHS patches to memorialize George and carry through the season. So we got 2 patches on there that the guys will be sporting this year, and it's really nice because every game we can remember both George and Mr. Ilitch. Very cool,
very cool. We have some changes in the managerial position, changes on the roster. What can fans expect as far as food items? Because That's what everybody thinks about when they come to the ballpark, but also maybe some additions to the ballpark.
Well, it's, with the food, obviously, everybody asks that. In the off season, it's always about what are the new food items, and obviously we put it out to the fan vote, and we get hundreds of ideas, number of samples, and this year the beer cheese poutine is the winner. We've got the game of cones, which is going to be edible bread cone filled with your choice of pulled pork, mac and cheese, bacon, and several other options. I mean, I'm hungry right now, and we're trying our first foray into Asian food, and we're going to have the walk-off, which is teriyaki chicken, beef, rice, and vegetables ready to take to your seat. So we're going to keep adding to those menu items at the ballpark, and we're bringing back deep-fried Twinkies, which some fans called for. But we have a number of items that we'll have ready for opening day.
Beer cheese, Twinkies, and then you threw in vegetables in there, so that threw me off. But
we try to get a little bit of healthy out there at the ballpark.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe some additions to the ballpark that fans can expect.
We underwent major changes this year again, and two of the biggest things that the fans are going to see when they come out to the ballpark. First thing, when they drive into Fifth Third Ballpark, they're going to see the Meyer hometown playground. We tripled the size of the existing playground. We're going to have a brand new play set, and we're going to have 5 inflatables out on the playground area that is still located beyond the right field fences, but it was a great addition to the ballpark. We expanded that, make more room, because kids of all ages want to go out there, and while the game's going on, you'll be able to go down there and have some amusement, either the play set or the inflatables. And also on the third base side, we took the lower third base lawn area and we put in the Canadian Lakes Landing, which is going to serve 80 to 100 people. It's all about comfort and hospitality over the years, and this will be our 9th hospitality area that we have at the ballpark, and we were selling out all the other 8 ones, so there was a demand for it. So we're going to be able to do that, and the best thing about that one is the location. You are going to be right down on the third base line in the visitors' bullpen, so you're going to be able to see the action, pitchers warming up, and being right there on the field. It gives a great view of the ballpark.
I see what fans are doing, promoting beer cheese and more inflatables for the kids, so they can eat more beer cheese while the kids are playing on the inflatables.
It's exactly it. What other place can you go to than the ballpark to enjoy that type of stuff?
Exactly. Well, we're right around the corner from opening day, and the first open workout is on Wednesday for fans to get a chance at seeing what the Whitecaps are going to offer.
We're going to go Wednesday at 6 o'clock, 6 to 7:30, where Mike Rebello will have the team out there taking batting practice infield, and then the fans can get autographs afterwards and try out some of the food samples and go to the capsize shop. But it's really a great way to open up the ballpark for the fans to meet the players to see what type of area, community that they are coming into, and get a nice little workout after coming up from Florida.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah. Welcome home.
It'll warm up, guys, in June.
And speaking of warming up, these are going to be handed out on Thursday to the first 1,200 fans.
Absolutely.
So
Alpine
maybe
hats.
we're not necessarily thinking it's going to be warm on Thursday, but opening day Thursday. I mean, the anticipation is here, and it's just about to come to an end. You got to be pretty excited.
It is. You always are at this time. I mean, it's been a long winter. No matter what you do, see, it fits perfectly. The first 1,200 fans.
I'm going to need to wear this on Thursday when I cover the game.
Well, usually if we've had items like this, it's turned out to be really good weather. So hopefully we can change that. But no, it's a popular item now, and I think the fans are really going to be excited by it.
I mean, I'm warm. I mean, this is like a Snuggie for your head.
Absolutely.
Well, opening day, Jim. Baseball in hand. I'm ready.
So are we.
I'm ready. Looking forward to it. Whitecaps open the season Thursday against South Bend. Be there. Jim Jarecki will be, and so will I. We wrap up Sports Overtime by checking in on the Women's National Championship. South Carolina versus Mississippi State for the title. Who came out the victor? After the break, this is Sports Overtime. Final Four weekend in the college basketball world continued tonight. The Women's National Championship on the main stage. Number 1 seed South Carolina against upset-minded Mississippi State. Gamecocks getting after it. Bulldogs trying to stay strong. Late first half, Alicia Gray drive, spin move, left-handed finish off the window. She had 18. That put South Carolina out front by double digits. But in the third, Bulldogs fight back. Katara Chappell, the long 2, swish. Mississippi State within 5. But unlike Friday night, there was not enough bite in the dog tonight. Asia Wilson to the goal, lays it in. She led the way with 23. South Carolina captures its first national championship in school history, 67-55. So the women's college basketball season over. The men's college basketball season will conclude tomorrow night. North Carolina and Gonzaga for the national championship. You can catch that game at 9:20 on CBS. To the track, Monster Energy Series at Martinsville for the STP 500. Stage 1 belonged to Martin Truex Jr., the number 78. And then in Stage 2, the fun began. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. bumps Kyle Busch to get back on the lead lap. Chase Elliott, though, the number 24 car in the middle of your screen, took the stage. And coming down the stretch, it was Brad Keselowski. He was able to hold down Martinsville for his second victory of the season. We are down to the final seconds of Sports Overtime. On behalf of the entire production crew and my fabulous photographer for helping me out today, Austin Wittenbach, thank you for staying up late with us. We'll see you next week.
Trying to put the ball square on the face is the most important thing, and Max out of Richland, Michigan, 9 years old.
Look, you remember Mark Fidrich, the bird? The long hair?
You're right.
And the Detroit Tigers hat? He was a real character for the Tigers years ago. Pitcher.